guys and girls, I'm James and welcome to my channel. Today we're taking a look at the Holystone HS200. Drone that's been around for about 4 years now, comes in this really big box. And drone years are kind of like dog years. I mean, that's a long time for a drone, and technology changes so fast. So why am I reviewing a 4-year-old drone? Well, take a look at it. Man, this glossy red paint, this thing looks like Speed Racer. Really showing my age talking about Speed Racer, but it's a really good looking drone. And let's see how much things have changed. If you've already bought this and you want to see how to fly it, we're going to go over that in a minute. We'll go over the app and how to bind the controller and everything and the options of it. It's this price on Amazon right now. So that's about $75, and which puts it right in line with the 2 other drones in its class, which are about $15 more, but that's the DEERC D10 and D50 that I've already done reviews on. And these things fly really, really good for the price of being under $100 drones, and they're only $15 more. So let's see how it compares. And DEERC is the same parent company as Holystone, and Holystone's always had the best drone to start out with, and that's to learn the orientation of a drone, and that's the HS210. So let's go over the drone. We'll go over all the features of the app and the remote and everything and see how it flies, and we'll come back and then afterwards I'll do some pros and cons of this drone. If you've already bought it, it's still a good looking drone and it's still a great value for the money, but let's see how it compares against the newer drones of today. All right, well, let's see what she weighs in at. She weighs in right at 120 grams compared to the DEERC D10 weighs in about 153. That's its closest competitor. So it weighs in about as much as a little bit less than a D-size battery. So inside the box, you're going to get the remote. You have to put the piece on that connects to your phone. You're going to get a user guide. You're going to get prop guards, extra set of props, a handy dandy screwdriver, and 2 batteries that aren't modular batteries. And actually, it doesn't come with the battery charger. You have to put it inside the drone and then charge it in the drone with the cable that it comes with. So the props are labeled very small on the bottom. You see the number 1 and the number 2. So make sure you put them on the right props if you change them. And the way you change them is there's a little bitty screw right here on the prop holder. Just undo that and then the prop pops off. So it does come with extra screws and extra gears, because if you look at the bottom, these gears are really exposed. So if you're putting it in the grass and you get it hung up, it could strip this gear out. Because if you look at the newer drones, the gears are protected, they're encased. So this is where you charge the batteries by putting the batteries inside the drone. This is where you can disconnect your camera. You can actually fly without it. And this turns the drone on and off. So right here is a spot for the SD card, even though I couldn't get it to charge to the SD card, but it did record to the phone very well, and that's the video that I was showing you. The camera is really good for this at this price point. It's non-adjustable, and of course, and I forgot to mention, they are brushed motors, so they are kind of loud. So it comes with the 650 milliwatt amp batteries, 2 of them, but they're not modular. And what I mean by that is if you look at the D10 and the D50, they're modular batteries and they slide in and out like this. Let me show you on the D. And they slide in and out, and you charge them right here. But on this drone, the one thing I don't like about it is this is really hard to disconnect. So what you have to do is you got to slide backwards and then try to get it to come up. It's kind of difficult. Then you get this battery compartment to open, and then you can pull the battery out. It's tucked in there really tight with the battery, and then you disconnect it here. So really, I find it so hard that I just flew it with the 1 battery and charged it. And it took a long time to charge, like an hour or so, because you got to disconnect this and try to tuck it back in there. So it's almost easier to never even change the battery and just use the 1 and just keep recharging it. So if I had to talk about one thing about this drone, that's one thing that is really kind of outdated, not having the modular batteries. Because it's really difficult to get this to slide back in there without breaking it. So I really do like the remote, the way it lights up. So when you turn it on, this is all lit up. So here's your speed switch. So as you push it when it's in the air, the speed will go up and down and show you, and you can bring it back down by pushing down here. And this is your one button to take off and land. You just push that and it'll take off, and you push it again and it'll land. This is supposed to be returned to home, but it's not a GPS drone, so that really doesn't work. These two switches are your trim buttons, and so they move up and down. So if the drone, as it's facing away from you, seems to be drifting forward, what you do is you just pull back on it this way. Or if it seems to be drifting to the left, you slide this one over and it'll adjust it so it remains altitude hold better. That just takes a little bit of practice. This is for your headless mode, and you want to turn it into headless mode. And what that does is whichever direction the orientation of the drone is going, it doesn't matter. It's just going to go that way. So even if it's sideways and you push it forward, it goes like this. That's mainly for beginners, but I would suggest don't ever even use that, because once you learn to fly in headless mode, you can't learn to fly the correct way that you're supposed to in the beginning. And this is a beginner drone, so you want to learn to fly it manual way and not use headless mode. And on the top of the remote, there's this button. One short press takes a picture, and you hold down to it to start a video. You can also do it on the app, and we'll go over that in just a second. Also, and it beeps while it's recording. And then this is your flip button, which is kind of cool. You push it, and then whichever direction you push it, it's going to flip. But let me tell you, if you've got it facing towards you and you hit the flip button, you better be standing 3 or 4 feet away from it, because when it flips, it makes a long flip towards you. So you need at least 3 or 4 feet away from you if you're going to use the flip button. So to get them to bind, you turn on the remote by the switch in the back. Really cool colors. You'll get a slow blink, turn on the remote. Then on your left joystick, you go up and down. You see it blinking, and then the blinking stops and she's ready to go. Also, when the battery starts getting low, these will start blinking, but not very long. You've got about 5 or 6 minutes of flight time, and then these lights will start blinking, and you probably have less than a minute. So you need to get it headed back towards home towards you. So to get the app, just point your camera to this QR code, and it'll pull up the DEERC FPV app. And it'll look like this. So just push the button, open up the app. So it is a Wi-Fi drone, so even after you have the app open, you want to close the app, open up your settings, open up your Wi-Fi, and then look for Holystone to pop up. And then when you see the check mark, it's checked and it's connected. So the Wi-Fi can work now. It'll fly without it, and you can fly it with the remote, but if you want to use the camera, you've got to connect it to the Wi-Fi. And it's using the Wi-Fi of your phone over your iPad, not of your home. So then go back and reopen the app and hit start. So the clarity of the camera is really, really good. I mean, it's just, even if you want to just take pictures with it, you can walk around and take pictures, and it does great. So I would use the app on some things. I like the speed button on the controller better than on the app, but you can do it here by changing your speeds. And it's only 3 here, but it's 4 on the remote. And you take a picture, start your video. So on the app, it does have instructions. I'm not going to go over everything. They're pretty simple, but the one thing that is important is the emergency stop. So if it seems to be flying away from you and it's headed towards a pond, you want to hit the emergency stop on the app, and that'll make it fall out of the sky. So let's go put her up in the air. Feels pretty good. Like I said, it's kind of, oh wait, I go up on my speed, so speed. So let's see if we can get the birds to attack it again. And it responds real fast to the controls. Look at that. They're going after it. They're gonna hit it. And it holds altitude really well for as windy as it is. Let's send her out. It's a little quirky. It just takes a minute to get used to it. It's really fast. Wonder how long the battery lasts. It doesn't want to ascend real fast when you're going full forward.
Those birds are gonna get it. I think they'll be in for a surprise if they touch it. Those blades will hurt. Oh boy, he almost got it. Let's try the flip. Oh, there we go. Let's try that again. You got to be careful if you're going to flip it toward you. Do you see how much it moved? Yeah, kind of silly. I bet you the lights start blinking when the battery's going dead. Once you get used to it, it flies pretty good. For 4-year-old technology, it's a good looking drone. I gotta admit, man, with that red, it really is easy to see. And all these lights, I bet you, whoa, look at that wind. With all this lights would be really fun to fly at night too. See the wind catch it? It almost acts like a GPS drone. It wants to hold so good. I guess the birds gave up. Let's try yaw then. Yaw's real good. Come on, birdie. Probably as far as I want to send it. Oop. Probably as far as I want to take it. Oop. Woo.
So here are a couple photos I took. You can see the resolution is really good. So how does a 4-year-old drone hold up against the other drones of today? Actually pretty well. The camera to me was just the same as the ones of today. The 720 it was really good. And I mean, it's not a 3-axis gimbal. You're not going to be buying this drone to be doing cinematic shots. So it's just fun to learn how to fly a drone and use the camera. It actually takes some really good pictures though. It looks better than the ones of today. The styling has went more towards this flat foldable drones and stuff, and this one flies really well. The only thing I don't like, again, is the exposed gears on the bottom. If you can keep it out of the grass, that's okay, and it doesn't have the modular battery. And a little bit of latency in the controller, and the controller felt a little bit clunky compared to some of the smoothness, especially of the D50. If you see my review of this one, I love the controller of this one. But it's $75, it's still a really good value. And I think this drone would make a lot of people really happy as a good present or as your first drone. Or if you could afford another $15, I would definitely lean towards the D10 or the D50. But you can't go wrong spending $75 on a drone that can do so much. And don't forget about the HS200, my review on this. If you want to fly indoors, this thing is a really good flyer and you could fly it indoors. This one's just a little bit too big to be flying indoors. And if it's windy outside, you know, you can't fly this outside. It's not a GPS drone. You're gonna have to move up to spend a couple $100 to get a GPS drone. This is what's called a Wi-Fi drone. So that it has brushed motors and it's only got a range of about 300 meters, about as far as it's going to go, which really is as far as you need to go because that's as far as you can see the drone. And legally now you can't fly past line of sight anyway. But the main thing that bothered me about this drone the most, and maybe it won't be a big deal to you, is it doesn't have modular batteries. And I kind of went over that earlier, how these batteries just pop in and out, and they're very easy to charge. This one's very difficult to get in and out. But beyond that, and those two things, I really like the drone, and for $75, if you bought one, it's still a really good value. It's a lot better to learn on a drone like this. Because if you crash this one, this is $75, because lots of times people go out and they buy a $1,000, $2,000 drone and they come home with something like this because they didn't learn the orientation of it. So if you don't know the orientation of a drone yet, then I would definitely start out with the HS200, a beginner mini drone. So you can fly this one all over the house and then move up to your budget drones. So drones can be a lot like treadmills. You think you really want one, you buy it because you're going to get in shape, but it just sits there and it just becomes a place to put your folded clothes. So if you're not sure you really want a drone, this is a great way to start. And if you fly this and you really like it, then you can move up and go into some of the more expensive drones. So thanks so much for watching. If you got something out of this, please like and subscribe. Subscribers mean everything to this channel, and I'll see you in the next one.
Those blades will hurt. Oh boy, he almost got it.